Chelsea usually went for a jog after school in Poway, but on February 25, she decided to run on the trails at the Rancho Bernardo Community Park, apparently scouting out the area for an environmental cleanup project she and her friends had planned for that Saturday. Chelsea King, one of the most dependable daughters around, followed a regular schedule like clockwork. She had left the house that morning at 6:15 for a peer counseling appointment. She was last seen leaving school when classes ended at 2 o'clock to go for her usual run. She was always home by 5:30 in the evening. Brent, a mortgage banking executive, and his wife Kelly, a medical assistant for a dermatologist, arrived home separately around 6 o'clock. When Kelly didn't see Chelsea's 1997 black BMW 528i in the driveway, she assumed that Chelsea had called Brent to let him know where she was. "Have you heard from Chelsea?" Kelly asked. "No, I thought you had," Brent replied. It was starting to get dark, and because this was such unusual behavior for their daughter, Kelly tried calling Chelsea's cell phone, but she kept getting voicemail. Something told her to keep trying, so she called Chelsea's friends, but they didn't know where she was either. Chelsea had been at school, they said, and had missed no classes. When there was still no sign of her by 6:49 p.m., Brent called AT&T, their cell phone provider, which was able to locate Chelsea's cell phone near the Rancho Bernardo Community Park, using technology that determines the cell tower where the phone signal is pinging. Brent hopped into his car and sped over there. In the parking lot, he saw her car sitting next to the tennis courts, 100 feet from the trailhead. Peering through the windows, he noticed her purse and discarded school clothes lying on the seats, as if she'd changed before going for a run. He took off down the nearest trail and yelled her name, but all he heard were the sounds of the night. The sun had set at 5:43 p.m., and the sky was already dark over Lake Hodges, which was circled by a trail network in a 50-acre section of the expansive San Dieguito River Valley. The perfect respite for those seeking solitude and self-reflection, these trails were used by only a small number of people at one time, often running or hiking a good distance from each other. Thick groves of arundo reeds, which resembled bamboo, grew as tall as 15 feet high in and around the shores of the lake and its finger-like tributaries. Under the murky water, whose level rose with each rainfall, the trees and brush sent their roots deep into the soil. Chelsea could run for 8 miles at a time, so she could be anywhere out there in the dark, lying in the brush with a sprained ankle, or worse, with no way to call for help. She'd also fainted during a recent run, so Kelly wasted no time in calling the Poway Sheriff's Station to report their daughter missing at 7:18 p.m.